During Black History Month, the Dripping in Black podcast shines a bright light on Black entrepreneurs who are modern day history makers. On this episode, we speak with a dynamic couple, Janielle and Adam Spencer, who are the owners of the Breakfast Club in Troy. I asked them, what should customers expect when they come out to the Troy location? Check out their response.
You can expect basically just think of having breakfast or brunch at your grandmother's house. It's more intimate, more home feel, but more of an upscale breakfast though. We have a traditional breakfast, scrambled eggs and over easy eggs, but we do a little twist sometimes. We do a seafood bowl with lobster, crab, and salmon, smoked salmon in it. So we do more upscale breakfast, but it still has the homey feel.
I tell a lot of people, I try not to hate on the other breakfast clubs, but I said, we got a chef in here. He be back there throwing flames. I'm like, babe, what you doing? So it's definitely a good experience in here.
Welcome to the Dripping in Black podcast, where we celebrate Black excellence throughout the Black diaspora. Here's your host, David V. Lewis.
What's up, good people all across the world? This is the Dripping in Black podcast. I am your host, David V. Lewis. And per usual, we have another fantastic guest. This time, we have two guests. And the guest goes by the name of Janielle and Adam Spencer. Janielle and Adam, say hello to the world.
Hey guys doing?
Hi guys, how are you? Thanks for
Yeah, I'm really excited. It took us a while to get you two together and get you on. We'll talk about how it came about. So it's a great story. I'm excited for our audience to hear it. But we always begin our podcast with a simple but not too simple question of who are you? And so I'm going to ask it this way. I'll start with you, Janielle. When I say, who is Janielle Spencer? What would be your response?
Janielle Spencer. I am a wife, a mother of 7. I am owner of the Breakfast Club in Troy, and I am also the floor manager as well. So I hold a lot of hats.
Okay. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Detroit, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
For about 8 years. Once I turned 21, went to Atlanta, explored Atlanta, and made my way back home where I met my husband at, and we've been married almost a year.
Okay. All right. And so what schools did you attend here?
I went to Davis Aerospace, but I graduated from Detroit's Academy of Arts and Science.
Okay.
College at Saginaw University in Saginaw, Michigan for a while.
Okay. All right. If I said, who is Adam Spencer, what would you say?
I would say I am a father, business entrepreneur, and chef.
Mm-hmm. And Adam, same questions. Where are you from? Where were you born and raised?
Born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. Never left.
Okay. And what schools did you attend?
For high school, I attended Detroit Northern High, and I went to State.
Say that part again.
I went to Wayne State.
Okay, Wayne State. All right. I'm curious, how did you all come to meet each other?
We actually met through my best friend and his cousin. They were dating at the time, and he was coming over to do a private cooking event for them. And my friend invited me over, and I couldn't make it that day. I had to work or something. So when I came over the next day, she was like, you gotta meet my boyfriend's cousin. Like he is your type. Like, you guys should meet. So she hooked us up on Instagram. We went on a date, and it was up from there.
Yeah. All right. So Janielle and Adam Spencer. I ran into Janielle first. I was out at the Breakfast Club in Troy, and Janielle is, like she said, the head manager. She kind of runs things. When you walk in, you see her face, And we just got into a conversation. Ultimately, she ended up telling us that she was the owner there. And I said, oh, we need to have you come on to the podcast. We need stories like yours on our podcast. And so we kind of talked and went back and forth with emails. Some emails got sent to the same person by the sender. We won't mention any names, Janielle.
I'm not savvy with that type of stuff.
But eventually we got you all on and we're so happy. So let's get started. So the Breakfast Club, how did that come about?
Breakfast Club actually been around probably like the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Owner, I used to work with her when I was in my early 20s while I was in college still. We parted ways probably about 4 years ago. She reached out to me, actually interested in opening one. She came and helped set it up, got everything going. She retired. I took over from there.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm digging for details. I'm thinking about the audience. I'm thinking about a young guy or young couple aspiring to open a business, a breakfast club or something like that. What are some of the first steps that they need to take?
I would say some of the first step is getting a business plan together, knowing the audience and who you want to go after, and not just say, I want to serve everybody. That's not really realistic. You want your audience down to a specific demographic so you know what you're going after and your focus. But come up with a business plan within like 5 years, how far you want to see yourself. Where do you start off at? What you need to start with, what type of foods you want to serve, what area. So jot all these things down and kind of get an idea of, what direction you want to go in before you even start looking for a business or building or anything like that.
Yeah. So you had all of that set while you were working for the Breakfast Club, you said?
I worked when I was in my early 20s, 5 now. So the process, when we started looking for a location, when we first started, we got together and decided we wanted to do it. We looked for a location, and it was kind of to find one that best suit our need as far as size, busy traffic area, high traffic area, and the type of, basically what city we wanted to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you ended up in Troy. That's really interesting.
Yeah, ended up in Troy. A couple of locations we've seen in West Bloomfield, Sterling Heights, but we found this to be good. We're Big Beaver and Rochester Road. And it's a pretty good high traffic area. Nothing else around here really, breakfast wise. So that's a big thing too, to scope out your competition before you do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you definitely need to, when you figure out what area you're gonna be in, because for us, like over here, our prices are a lot higher than they would be if we were in the city, just because of the fact that we're in Troy and it's a different demographic over here. So another thing that you should think about when you're thinking about a restaurant, a location, is if it's gonna accommodate the type of prices that you want to have. Because we could be in Detroit what we charge in Troy, so that plays a part too.
Yeah, I would say there's a business side to that as well, though. I would imagine there's a few more steps that you have to go through to get that building in Troy, as opposed to a building in Detroit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot stricter requirements from the city, and getting approval from the city. You have to get approval to have your restaurant here. If they don't want it here, they have to agree on it. If they don't want your restaurant here or your brand here, you off to the next location. So you have to get approval from the health department first. The city has to agree to it. It's a lot of ins and outs.
Yeah. So it sounds like you were pretty well prepared for this opportunity before the opportunity presented itself.
Yeah, I would say so. I had a couple other businesses I started that helped me, got me to where I'm at now, right mindset and everything.
Yeah, I think that's what I want to talk about, because whenever I get business owners and entrepreneurs on, I like to talk about that mindset, right? Where do you get that from to decide? I mean, are you from wealth? Let's start with that. Were you
no,
born?
Not at all. Not at all.
That's a whole different thing if you were born.
No, not at all. It's more so the freedom. It's not, because when you're an entrepreneur, it's not hand over fist money. I can make a 9 to 5, but it's the time, the freedom I have, my leisurely freedom, enjoy my life how I'm pleased versus I'm going for someone else, and I may make more, but I'm under their thumb as far as time wise.
Indeed.
Yeah, and I think that's the motivation for us anyway behind wanting to be entrepreneurs and having our own thing going on, because it's just like before the Breakfast Club, I had a separate business as well. So for us, it's all about being able to allot our time to what we wanted to, not being like, okay, well, we have this this 9 to 5, I got to be to work 8 o'clock on Monday morning. So, but I will say, I think a big misconception that a lot of entrepreneurs have is that they'll have a lot more free time when you have your own business.
Yeah.
I think it's much more challenging than working a 9 to 5, because you have to make sure everything is everything. I mean, we have some crazy stories sometimes. It'll be 3 a.m. We laying down in bed, the alarm system go off because the power didn't went out, and we got $6,000 worth of food in a walk-in. We got to figure out what to do with it. We praying that the power come back on. So it's so many different obstacles, especially during a pandemic. Like right now, things are looking up, but that pandemic has been crazy.
Yeah. So, oh man, I got a few questions with regards to that, but I still want to dig a little deeper about this entrepreneurial spirit. So both of you were business owners before you got to this business.
Yeah.
When did that light bulb switch for you to say, I want to own my own business? Had you worked? Well, you said you worked for Breakfast Club in your 20s, so you had worked a 9 to 5. Had you worked a 9 to 5 as well, Janielle?
No.
Okay. So talk about that. Talk about that entrepreneurial mindset. Where did it come from? When did you know you had it, and when did you start acting on it?
Okay. For me, I grew up in a very poor area, Harper and Van Dyke. It wasn't a whole lot. Yes. So my dad, he's worked at Chrysler since he was 20. I have like super young parents. So I grew up just watching him 6-7 days a week at work. He never could spend a lot of quality time with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that, I knew I never really wanted to work for anybody, and I always wanted to be able to enjoy my life. So when I hit 18 and I went off to college, even the college thing for me was kind of hard because my mom was single and at the time, and she was scraping up money to send me to school, and I was just in college, and I'm like, this ain't it. I can't off this. Like I want to start my life now. I want money now. So I went to massage school first and got my massage license. I ventured off to Atlanta. I had a few friends from college that lived in Atlanta, so I literally packed my entire car up with $300 in my pocket, and I was like, I'm gonna try Atlanta out, and that is work for me. So I went to Atlanta. I got 150 business cards made for $39.99. I remember that because that was and I just went to the mall and different places, and I just passed them out. I was a big partier at the time, so I would go to the clubs, and in Atlanta, it's always celebrities everywhere. And I wanted to work with I wanted to work with celebrities simply because they would pay the prices that I wanted to charge.
Yeah.
So I met a couple of celebrities. The first one I ever gave a massage to was Nick Cannon. And then from there, it was kind of word of mouth. They would let their friends know and everything, things like that. I did really good in that. And I knew I never wanted to work in a spa because I felt like I made way more just working for myself. I was making like $150 an hour. Not doing too much when I would work in a spa and make like $25 an hour. So I did that. And when I got pregnant with my daughter is what made me decide I wanted to move back home to Detroit because I wanted that support system. I wanted to be around family, and it would be a lot easier than what I was doing because a lot of my clients are so demanding. You know how celebrities are. They call you and like, I want you here in 30 minutes. And I'm like, I got to get a babysitter. I got to figure it out. So for me, it was a lot easier to come home and figure something out. So when I came home, you know how Detroit is. They weren't paying them prices I was trying to charge. So I had to come up with something different. And that's when I ventured out and I started my waste management company.
Okay.
I started doing that. And then a pandemic hit, and that's around the time we got married. And he bought his partner out because he did have a partner at the restaurant. He bought his partner out, and when he bought his partner out, he basically asked me to come in and help him run the front of the house.
Okay.
So I jumped into that. I didn't think I was gonna jump in as deep as I did, but I'm in there now.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's quite the story there. You had I would say somewhat sounds like a thriving massage business, and then you gave it up basically to come back home.
Yeah, I had the lifestyle change with having a kid. It was just so different, and it was ending. And I was missing home. I just wanted to be around family, but I knew I had to come up with something before I came home. I didn't just want to come home and not be doing anything. And I knew those 9 to 5s wasn't really up in my alley. So I was like, okay, I got to think of something. So then the waste management thing came into play for me.
Yeah. And that's a whole nother podcast, just trying to figure out how you did that. Again, I'm kind of curious about the details because if somebody's watching, okay, so you got a waste management job. Okay. Well, I mean, business, saying that is still not telling anybody how that came about, but we'll be here forever if I go into detail about all of that, but it's so interesting to me that, so you refuse to do a 9 to 5, you instead bet on yourself, right? Yeah. That I could figure it out. And you had a support system with your family. I'm sure Adam is happy about your massage experience, though.
Yes, I am.
I'm sure that's a plus for you, Adam.
Yeah,
I keep telling the man I'm retired. Leave me alone.
All right, so Adam, in your 20s, you were working for the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I was in school. I was in for law, so I wasn't thinking about cooking or anything. That was just a job to have.
Wow.
In college.
Okay.
So I wanted to be a lawyer. So this is my backup plan, technically.
Okay.
As a paralegal for 4 years.
Okay. Wow.
And said, well, I've been cooking all this time. Let me, dive into this a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And I fell in love with it.
Okay. What's up with the paralegal stuff now?
Nothing. I haven't done it.
You turned the page on that, huh?
Yeah, I think about it sometimes where I would be now if I would have kept going with it, but it was just bankruptcy law firm. So it was extremely boring. Mm-hmm. They pay well. Mm-hmm. So it was more so.
Time stamp it for me. So you're in the 20s, you're going to school, you become a paralegal. When does that end and when does this entrepreneurial pursuit begin?
I would say probably about 23, I started working as a paralegal.
Okay. What year is that?
That's the hardest questions. 34. So 2008, 9.
Okay. I
think that's right. Yeah, 2008 or 9.
Okay.
Did that for about 4 years. Just didn't like it. Just wasn't happy with it. And I needed to go to law school. I was working as a paralegal to become a lawyer. And the bottom fell out. I just wasn't happy with it.
Man, y'all dope to me.
Thank you.
Y'all dope to me. To have the courage to stand on your own and go for it. I think that's the dopest part. And then y'all meet each other. So it's a kindred spirit there, right?
Yeah, right. Definitely. I would say Adam he's a little bit modest. As you can tell, he don't talk a whole lot, but he started cooking. What do you call that? Like line cooking? Yeah, line cooking. But he ventured off before the restaurant as his own thing, and established his catering company.
Okay.
So that's where you got a lot of your experience from with the restaurant industry, right?
After working in as a line cook, me and a partner of mine started a catering company. Off very well. And that helped me build the business I'm at now because I can do that at my own pace as far as, learning from my mistakes, as far as, should I purchase all this at once or should I wait to purchase these things as I need them? So I learned a lot from just trial and error during those times.
Yeah. So the Black owned Breakfast Club in Troy,
Yeah.
right? And I want to get into this because when we hear Black owned, it has a lot of baggage with it, right? We try to support our own, but sometimes they want us to do a lot of extra just to support them. When I get to the Breakfast Club in Troy, though, again, it didn't feel like it was Black owned, if you will. It just felt like a restaurant. It was a good restaurant experience. Like I said, Janielle's at the front door. She's greeting you. She's smiling. The staff is pleasant. What's your take on this Black owned business?
I've been wanting to get into this for a while. When I started taking over the front of the house for my husband, a lot of our customers did not know that it was Black owned, and we have a lot of regulars. I think I actually really appreciate our regulars because they come 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
And we were kind of in disagreement with things like, should we update our Yelp page and say that it's, how they had the Black owned section? And my husband's like, like I kind of want to keep it as is because you don't really, how a lot of places that are Black owned, you walk in and every Black, you kind of just tell. And he likes the universal look of everything.
Yes.
For him, he doesn't necessarily want to ice out a particular group of people or anything like that. He wants, it to be universal. But then on the other hand, with me dealing with the front of the house and dealing with a lot of, I would say I've had a lot of racist incidents up here. After a while, I was telling him, I said, no, listen, babe, we're going to have to start telling people this is Black owned and we're not going for and the ignorance. Because I've had people sit at the table and call me over. And especially during the pandemic when we were masked and I would have my mask on, they would call me over and be like, hey, can we have somebody different serve our drinks because the busboy bought our drinks over and we just didn't really want him touching our drinks. Now, mind you, my busboy, he's Black. He has braids to the bag. And I'm like, you don't want them touching it? And they're like, no, we don't want them touching our drinks. Can somebody else bring it? And I'm like, well, I'm Black. I'm the owner. My husband is back there cooking it up. He's the owner. So I think you might want to find somewhere else to. So I think over the time, over maybe like the course of the summer, things have started to change a little bit. That we are Black owned, but we don't really like that to be our staple.
Yeah.
We want people to just be like, oh, we got to come there because it's a Black restaurant. And then my take on a lot of Black owned businesses, I always want to support. Like I feel like as the community, we definitely need to support each other as much as possible. But I feel like we need to hold ourselves and Black owned businesses accountable for their customer service, for their approach, for how they deal with people, handle situations. I've had numerous incidents where I've tried to support Black owned boutiques online and things don't come. He was mad a few months ago. I called myself wanting to try a wig. Like he ordered me a $325 wig. Never came. I think we're fighting with PayPal about that.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm emailing the girl, reaching out, no response, no nothing. They'll call you from the page before they deal with the issue. Or I've used a couple Black owned vendors for, we do private events here as well at the restaurant. So I've used a couple Black owned vendors. I give them a time slot. They get here 25 minutes before my event to set up their balloons and everything. And then they're looking at you crazy if you got the slightest bit of attitude because they want to know what your problem is because at least they got here. So I do feel like a lot of Black owned businesses need to start holding themselves to a higher standard. And you may get that customer base because you are Black owned and people want to support, but you won't get that reoccurring customer base. You won't get those regulars or anything like that. Yeah. And I think that's part of the value that a lot of businesses are missing. They feel like as long as I can make $1, it's good, but it's like you won't get any longevity in your business if customer service is not A1, if not handling people's problems accordingly, if you're ignoring people just taking their money. So I think this was always frustrating me the most with a lot of businesses.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, you said a mouthful. Our experiences from just, going to hang out, going to eat somewhere, to even with Dripping in Black, trying to support Black owned businesses. We run a myriad of experiences with that. And, of course, we've been in restaurants where, like you said, if the treatment is bad, you got me there that one time, but I'm not coming back. There's a couple of restaurants I can think of, I won't mention at the top of my head, that we have not been back to because of the experience that we had there. Not the food, not even the ambiance, if you will, but the treatment is like, okay, no, we're not coming back here because we don't have to accept that. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, if I've never been to the Breakfast Club, what am I getting when I walk in?
You can expect basically just think of having breakfast or brunch at your grandmother's house. It's more intimate, more home feel, with more of an upscale breakfast though. So we have the traditional breakfast, scrambled eggs and over meat, over easy eggs, but we do a little twist sometimes. We do a seafood bowl with lobster, crab, and salmon, smoked salmon in it. So we do more upscale breakfast, but it still has the homey feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Coming into a family atmosphere as well. You go to a lot of restaurants where it's not super kid friendly. You don't want to bring your kids, or they don't necessarily have a kid menu or anything like that. So it's definitely family oriented in here. We're walking around, checking on you, making sure that everything's good. I'm always on my servers about keeping a smile on their face, rectifying people's issues. And so we're really big on that. And then him in the back, he is definitely, I tell a lot of people, I try not to hate on the other breakfast clubs, but I said, we got a chef in here. He be back there throwing flames. I'm like, babe, what you doing? So it's definitely a good experience in here.
Okay. Yeah, a chef.
Yes.
Yeah, I know from my experience coming to you all's particular establishment, I did notice the young Black males, so is that intentional as well?
Oh yeah. For us, we have a big family, so it tells a lot of little cousins. We have a lot of just us. We have 7 kids. This is 20. So usually you'll catch our sons in here busting the tables and things like that. We really just want to teach them work ethic and how to work hard for things. That they get so mad. They like, we want a video game. Okay, come in Saturday, check the schedule. You can come video game. And then and we just want to give them an opportunity too, especially for like a lot of my little cousins that I have come in and work. They still in the trenches, in Harper and Van Dyke in the trenches. So sometimes I just like to get them out the environment and just see something new, see different people interact with other races and other people outside the norm that they would interact with. So we are really big on that.
That's huge. I'm an educator by trade, and to me, that's the greatest gift you can give a young person. It's the exposure to other lifestyles and the potential that's out there. Because a lot of times, like you said, if you're in the trenches, that's what you think life is. And it's much more to life than that, right?
No, yeah.
All right.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And then just the direction the world is going in now, everybody is becoming an entrepreneur. Like that's the thing to do, to have your own business, whether you're a kid in this lemonade stand or whatever it is. So I've told my husband a million times that I think they need to make business 101 a part of the school curriculum, because kids know how to fill out documents and how to fill out bank accounts and how to get that stuff going. That needs to be taught, because that's
the first thing we have to do in our community is teach our kids to value education.
Yeah.
Because we could have a business 101 class in there, and if the kids aren't going to come in with the right intention, then it'll be missed.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say, well, they should teach financial literacy. Well, actually, if you paid attention in your econ class, there is a financial literacy portion that we teach. But you probably missed it because
Right.
it's boring. I'm not into it, all of that, right? And so I think for our community, Black community specifically, we have to figure out a way to tap into our kids and make them value education, really value learning.
Yeah.
You can learn anywhere. So just to learn something is a value, right? If we can get that into our communities, then we can put a business one-on-one in there, and those kids will actually benefit from it. Sorry, I had to jump.
No, look, you coming from the teacher point of view, I definitely get. I just see like my sons, they'll be on the internet taking the gym shoes and reselling them and just doing different things, and we try to teach them like that. That's a business. Like, you can take that and you could grow with it, and it's different. It's different avenues when it comes to business. It's not just about owning this or owning that. It's just about taking your niche and making something out of it.
Yeah. All right. So this is a question for both of you all. You all have the Breakfast Club. You got it free and clear as your ownership. You have it at a level right now. But the next level for it, what does that look like?
I would say next level for it would be self-sustainable, where I'm more hands-off. That way, fully staffed. Customer service is still the same. Doesn't drop down when I'm not here. Doesn't change anything. Doesn't change. Nothing changes. More so, let it run itself.
Okay. All right. So I always use that as a setup. So we have an audience that's growing, and you have a platform here to talk to the audience. What can the audience do tangibly to support you get into that next level? What can somebody out there provide for you to get you there?
I would say, come in, give us a try. Come in, dine out, have a breakfast. Tell us how it is. The best thing you can do is give us comments on your service, and we can do better, how we can change, or what you like, what did you like. You can follow us on Instagram, Breakfast Club Troy, website, breakfastcluboftroy.com. Book the same name, Breakfast Club of Troy. But definitely just stop in and give us your feedback on everything.
Janielle, same question. Taking it to the next level, we have an audience. How can they come in and support you to that next level? He wants to be more hands-off. I think you would love for him to be more hands-off.
Yes.
What can our audience do to support you to get there?
I think for me, I'm big on reviews. So you come in, if you enjoy it, just write a quick review on Yup. Let people know, what it was that you ordered, that you really like, what did you enjoy about it the most. I think reviews are like very helpful, because I know for me, I Yup everything before I go anywhere. and for me, that's always the determining factor if I'm gonna try it or not. If it's too many bad reviews or, so that for me, and just word of mouth, just continue to let people know, like, oh, you going to breakfast? You should try the Breakfast Club, and it's Black owned. Support. Definitely support us.
Okay, I got you. So ultimately, more people coming in, more people coming to see you will put you in a position to get to that next level.
Yes.
Create more consistency as far as customers, customer service. Like I said, just letting us know, give us feedback, so we can the issues that we have, and we can stop issues from occurring that may happen in the future.
Yeah. So Dripping the Black audience, jump on it. Give them the exact location real quick.
3672 Rochester Road. It is north of Big Beaver. On the east side of Rochester Road. Yeah,
come on out and support them and have a good time. The food is delicious. The experience is great. And they're Black owned, as they said, but they cater to everybody, right? So come on out and have a good time, and support this young couple as they make their foray through the entrepreneurial world. All right. Y'all ready for the major question?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to do this differently as well. I have to do one by one. I think I'm gonna ask Adam first. All right, this is the last question that we ask all of our guests. So you'll get a preview, Janielle, when I ask Adam. Adam, have you ever been on the cover of a magazine?
No, I have not. And it's funny you said that. I was talking to my son about my goals I set when I was in my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of them. That's the only one I didn't do was that. I was probably like 24, but that was a goal of mine at the time. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, at the time I was younger, so superficial goals, but I reached everything else but that one.
For what reason what reason at that age did you anticipate being on the cover of a magazine?
I don't know. I just did my list of goals because I was
on
just,
there.
Yeah, it could have been for anything. That's one of the things I wanted to do.
Oh. All right. Janielle, same question. Have you ever been on the cover of a magazine?
No, I have not. And I've never thought about it either, simply because I hate taking pictures. So
what?
Yes, I don't think I'm very photogenic. You always talk about my big head. So yeah, no. I have not.
Okay. Well, one of the things we do here at the Dripping in Black podcast is we aim to please. So each and every guest get placed on the Dripping in Black magazine cover. My producer, Sean Smith, is going to show you yours.
Nice. Aww, look at
all right. And that is not just for the episode, but it's also a parting gift. We will get that printed out and laminated and sent out to you as a thank you for coming on to our podcast.
Thank you so much. I love that.
So if you look over my shoulders, you see quite a few of our guests from our first season. And I'm a little slow on getting the second season guests up there, but I got to complete my wall of fame back there. I got two guests up here that I haven't got yet, Barack and Michelle. So y'all keep, y'all spread that word.
Definitely will.
They are definitely dripping in black, so we need them on here. All right.
Thank you.
So we want to thank Janielle and Adam Spencer for coming out. Give the social media one more time, just to make sure everybody's got it.
Instagram and Facebook, Breakfast Club Troy.
Yeah, Breakfast Club Troy.
Me personally as Chef Adam Spencer. Same thing, Instagram and Facebook.
Give me the hours.
We are open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 2.
Yeah. All right. Any shout outs you want to give before we close out?
Yeah. To God, I'm definitely a God-fearing woman, and I just thank him every day for even putting us in a position to be able to run our own businesses and come out on top. So definitely to God.
Yeah. Shout out to God. All right. Thanks again to Janielle and Adam Spencer. We'll ask our audience to hang on for the final segment, the last drip. But thanks to you. Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
A Dripping in Black thanks to Adam and Janielle Spencer, and to our audience. The next time that you are planning a breakfast outing, I highly recommend the Breakfast Club in Troy. And say hello to Janielle and Adam for me when you go out there. All right. Of course, now we have reached the final segment of our podcast called The Last Drip. The Last Drip is the last opportunity for us to squeeze in a bit more of Black excellence for you. In this final segment, we highlight a common thread between our guest and our vast and rich African-American history. For this episode, we place our focus on the story of Albert and Margaret Robinson. Albert Robinson was born into enslavement in Missouri in 1845. In the 1860s, after the Civil War and the passage of the 13th Amendment, officially abolishing slavery, Albert would move to San Diego, California. In 1886, Robinson was living in Julian, a small town in San Diego County, where he worked as a cook. That year, he met and married San Diego native Margaret Tull. As a wedding present, Margaret's parents granted the couple land in Julian. Soon after, the Robinsons opened a restaurant and bakery on that land. They named it Robinson Restaurant and Bakery. In 1897, the Robinsons began construction to replace the restaurant and bakery with a hotel. By the end of that year, Hotel Robinson was up and running. Equipped with 14 guest rooms, a full kitchen, dining room, and a parlor room, Hotel Robinson soon became famous for its hospitality and for the food that was served at the restaurant within. After her husband's passing in 1915, Margaret continued to own and operate the hotel until she sold it in 1921. Margaret sold it for $1,500, which is the equivalent of just over $20,000 in today's money. Hotel Robinson was later renamed the Julian Hotel, and it is now listed in the National Register of Historic Places in Washington, D.C., as well as the state of California Point of Historical Interest. Like today's guest, Adam and Janielle Spencer, Albert and Margaret Robinson thrived as a couple who worked alongside one another in business. And this is why they are this episode's last drip. For more on Albert and Margaret Robinson, check out sites.sandiego.edu, hmdb.org, julianhotel.com, and blackpass.org. My thanks to all of these websites for the knowledge. Again, when I do the last drip, it is a tremendous joy because I get to look up Black history. And for this one, it was a real treat. This was a story that I didn't know about. And all I got to say about is our history is rich. All right. A friendly reminder that the DIBK Drip Shop is open. Go to dibkdripshop.com to get the latest Drippin' in Black merch and all the other merch under the Drippin' in Black Productions umbrella. And as always, a huge thanks to our listeners, viewers, supporters, and subscribers. And a big shout out to the best podcast producer in the game, Sean Smith, aka S Squared. And until next time, be kind, be loving, and be excellent on purpose. It is a choice.
You have just experienced a Dripping in Black production.